All right. Seems like we're good to go. We got 10 seconds until our racers are going to go crazy. I am looking forward to seeing what Troylus is going to do here. And until Septic Tank gets his tush in here, I am Chimera, and I've been playing this game for forever, but not competitively, so this is a whole slice of heaven.
And I have arrived.
Welcome. I already introduced myself, but hello, Septic Tank, welcome.
Hello, hello.
Is the stream messed up, or did our competitors not get started?
That's the delay. There's going to be like usually a good 10-15 second delay.
I thought that there
They should be starting. Yeah, there they go.
I thought that there wouldn't be that much of a delay. Oh, but there'll be a delay when it comes to the Discord message and all. I get that now. Okay, I forgot that the delay happens for all the stuff, but then as we're commentating, what we're seeing on the screen is what's going to be actually basically cohesive. So, my second time commentating.
No worries. So, would you like to tell everybody what is going to be happening for these first few floors?
Yeah, sure. Basically, because of the way that things are set up for this tournament in particular, and I guess runs whenever you're racing an opponent, is a randomizer basically sets the first floor to always have the same items. Because when you play the base game, you have to go through a tutorial. This basically skips the tutorial and gives you all of the items that you'd be getting from the tutorial anyway, sending our players straight to playing the tower without any intermissions, just straight to the good bread and butter of the and then basically typically for our runners who are trying to play the game as fast and consistently as possible, the first 5 to 6 floors are typically going to be seen breezing through every room, checking for as much loot as possible, and getting stuff to prep for the harder floors where enemies who have an elemental affinity that is bad against Kuhn here, who is fire, water types are struggle. So basically you're prepping to encounter a whole bunch of water types and avoid them as much as possible.
That does pretty much sum it all up. Basically, on these first 5 floors, the only water munchers you'll be seeing is the weakest muncher in the game, Palumpa. Cute little thing, but he doesn't really fight very well. So, but once we get to floor 5, Manivas start showing up, and they're not too bad. But then floor 6 on, you got Blooms that are really tanky. Kuhn doesn't have a fun time with them.
Yeah. I appreciated Troy's use of the copper sword there to get through that troll quick for a level up. Just foregoing having a copper sword the entirety of this, just relying on the finger now.
That's actually a decision I make a lot in myself in any percent runs. But here he's gonna have to be doing a bunch of fighting, and the loss of that power, he will feel it.
Absolutely. It's like what, 2 damage for the first copper sword?
Yes, two flat extra damage, and that's huge on these early floors.
Yeah, it's basically the same difference of having a height advantage, and you notice a height advantage.
Luckily, these noises are wind elements, so he's already able to one-hit them with the mixture magic. And under floor 3.
Razor making nice use of aggroing the troll for Kuhn to sneak in an extra hit. I like it.
And that trap, Did not activate. That was a slam trap. Not the biggest ordeal in a run, but there's definitely several traps that can end a run real quickly. Sleep traps, paralyzed traps. But they also all have a chance to just not activate. A little bit of luck on his side. And it does look, something I noticed is that Razor did not fully explore floor 3 there. I'm thinking maybe he knows how fast Troy is. So he's probably making some decisions to take a lead early and hoping that will carry him. We'll see how that pans out for him.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I noticed that Razor made a very quick work of floor 2 as well. Early Shomru is nice.
And a paralyzed wand. So definitely not the best wand. What we really want to see is a elemental Eland wand, Scarlet, Stream wand if you can get your Kion transferred to water. But paralyzed wand comes with a passive effect that it has a chance to paralyze enemies, which is extremely huge.
And if I remember correctly, it's about a 1 in 16 chance, so like roughly 7%, something like that. It's fairly consistent. It's fairly consistent.
1 in 16 is... I'm not sure if that's the number. Like, I actually don't know the number myself, but it does seem... It feels a little bit more than that. Like, it does seem to proc pretty consistently.
Yeah, I'm a little bit confused on the Troylus' decision to just get rid of a blue sand on a full very not full inventory. I guess it's just not that big of a deal.
And blue sands don't really come into play a whole lot. Like, if you're running a sword, you're going to stop fighting anyways at some point. So, in the end, he's probably just really worried about his inventory. Right. That is one of the big slowdowns for a lot of runners, even myself. Like, sometimes you get too good of an inventory, and then you keep finding good stuff, and it becomes a time sink trying to figure out what do I get rid of. So, he's definitely one to not have to do tons of inventory management later, it seems.
I like Ash providing us the estimates right there. 7% sounding about right. I would say so. It definitely feels like 7% to me as somebody who plays Risk of Rain 2 a lot with proc coefficients. I'm familiar with, hey, how often does this thing hit? And 7% sounds about right for paralyzing. That comes in clutch, honestly. The amount of times a paralyzed wand can just make you just take a deep breath of relaxation because you don't have to fight the tower as hard anymore. You just got a freebie monster encounter. So yeah, it's a great wand. Underrated, maybe even. Especially considering the fact that you are constantly just battling the tower with RNG. You're not guaranteed to get a single wand. So, yeah, slightly above 8%. Still pretty good.
We just saw it on Troy's side that he got a paralyzed on that Cyclone. Cyclone not really a threatening monster, but it did save him a hit, so saving HP is HP to be used for later.
As we say it, there's Razorflame with one as well. So yeah, it's a very interesting, fun wand. And wands are just too strong, in all honesty. If you get a wand in this game when it comes to either long play or speedrunning, racing, it's just night and day in how much better the wands are than straight up weapons in every aspect. The only time that weapons are good is if you're planning on just hitting stuff with your familiar and hitting stuff with your face. That's the only time that you'd maybe want swords over wands, because you're not really using your familiar for mixed magic. But typically, when you're racing and speedrunning, mixed magic is your go-to bread and butter. Because Kuhn is just a hard hitter when it comes to... I have a What in the world just happened there with the Manueva? Razorflame... I'm pretty sure Razorflame tried to throw the sword at it, and it just did nothing. Was that a glitch? Or did he miss input and just drop it?
Did he throw it at an angle?
Yes.
Okay, so this is actually a glitch that was discovered in the last tournament by Plushie. If you have a monster that is up against the wall of a room and you throw a weapon at a diagonal to them, it does not register at all. You don't get a miss. Usually it'll come up with the word miss if a attack just rolls and misses. But in this case, it literally does not, like, there's no indication of attack happening. The game does not register it.
Interesting.
So that is probably a little bit of lack of knowledge on Troy's side, because that is fairly new information. And there's tons of tech and information that runners have to be concerned with, and it's hard to keep up with it all, really.
It's extremely inconvenient for Razorflame because it essentially costs him an entire medicinal herb to save Kuhn and not risk the Manueva beating Kuhn over the face. Which, ooh, we got this is a very solid run already. We've got such a good inventory for both players.
Yeah, Troy decided to take a small step over to the neighboring room on floor 6, or... oh, 7. On floor 7, and found himself a recovery ball. Recovery ball is not particularly the most exciting, but there is really good use when you have a familiar. You can actually let your familiar fight something and just recover it from safety. Or if you get a repel ball, you can take the very slow strat of repelling either a monster or your own familiar, and then casting the recovery to heal yourself. So not a bad find. The trip was not completely wasted to that next room.
Indeed.
And Razor reaches floor 10. So this is where we're transitioning back to fire. Let's see if he decides to take time to do a little bit of farming.
I'm a little surprised that he didn't go for the initiative on this volcano while it was asleep, but he still keeps height advantage if he plays this correctly.
And that's looks what he's doing. He was probably just gonna make the doorway, and if it didn't wake up, then he would just leave.
Yeah.
But since it woke up, taking care of it was a good choice.
Yeah, I think volcanoes, even with height advantage, might still do about 7 damage on a diamond shield, and his health was rather low at 21 or so. So that's probably why he wanted to just leave the room.
We're getting to the point where the diamond shield is definitely really good. Like, it's reducing 4 damage from all attacks. It's not a ton though, and it will quickly get outpaced by monster damages as it goes up.
I'm pretty sure it's about 6. Isn't it 6 damage?
It's 4. The diamond shield comes. Actually, it's 3.5. I think a diamond shield comes with 7 defense. Defense translates to every 2 points of defense is -1 damage for attacks.
Really? I never really knew that. I've never heard about that before. I never asked.
It's a very straightforward formula. Basically, this is the reason why we generally really hope to find leather shields, because they have a hidden evade chance on them. Which, evading attack is way more worth when monsters can 1 to 2 hit you anyways.
Yeah. That actually makes the blue sand way less valuable than I thought it would be. So that makes sense with Troy getting rid of it then.
Yeah, blue sands... Oh, Wooga has become unable to fight.
Ouch.
Troy is in a situation here. Eat the medicinal herb. I hope to see him track up to get the high ground. Oh, he has a Restore Scarf. He's fine. He's fine. Meanwhile, Razor's looking pretty good. He's... Never mind. Spoke too soon. There goes his Restore Scroll.
Yeah, one interesting thing is the fact that since floors 6 to 9 are typically a scramble for the elevator where runners may or may not decide to sidestep a few rooms and then go to the elevator if they feel it's safe, you get a vast difference in what items people get as soon as these floors happen. Because we have one person with a diamond shield and the other does not. But one has 2 holy bells, and a recovery ball, and a blinder ball. And blinder balls actually probably come in handy in certain situations, even more so than fire, due to the fact that you can just circumvene an entire encounter with a monster with one cast of a blinder ball, which I've seen have upwards of, 7 casts on it, just as a, drop in the tower. So being able to potentially weave around 7 monster encounters, especially later, like 4:30, where glaciers start coming in slowly and you don't want to really mess with them due to the fact that they're beefy, annoying, and blinder balls are just extremely strong if you know how to utilize them. Unlucky Troylus getting hit with a trap, but his health pool's looking decent.
Yeah, so the balls all have a, with the exception of Acid Rain, every ball will drop with a set of charges from a range of 4 to 7. It's actually not exclusive to Blinder at all. Any Blaze Ball, Pillar Ball has the exact same odds of being 4 to 7. The thing with Blinder Ball that makes it super good is it's useful in every situation where the threat is not right next to you. Whereas the attack balls generally only are useful against wind monsters. Unless you want to expend an extra charge, you can take care of fire monsters with 2 charges. And then the other balls like Sleep and Binding. Binding only lasts for 3 turns. You can get around a monster, but generally you can't de-aggro them. And Sleep balls, if you're already next to the monster, your odds are they're going to wake back up. You can end up dumping 2 or 3 sleep charges on a single monster just to get out of a situation. So blinders are definitely one of the top tier ball pickups you could find.
Did Razorflame just get out of blindness immediately, or did he just use a blind anti? No, he didn't have a. That was weird that his blindness just wore off that fast.
Yeah, so blind on traps are. I'm pretty sure they're the range or the amount of turns that have to pass is completely RNG. So I'm not fully familiar with how many turns that could be, but
That
seems
was
like maybe
incredibly convenient. Yeah.
Floor 12, I wonder, so they both spawned in the room with the elevator. I'm wondering if Troy is searching for the blue collar.
Yeah, I didn't notice if Razorflame found it or not.
No, on Razor's side, he immediately took the elevator after killing the griffin that was spawned in there. The blue collar, it may come into play if they find an egg to fuse. Like so.
Yeah, floor 12, is that... That's not quite in Garuda territory, is it?
It is. Floors 11 to 20 is Garuda egg territory. Unfortunately, he did have a truth, and it's not Garuda, but what he did get is U-boat.
U-boat is still phenomenal.
Really hope, yes.
I hope that it's at 8% though. He might just forgo it entirely due to that.
In my opinion, like we're just about 20 minutes into the run. I think it's well worth hatching that U-boat. being able to know where the elevator is can easily give you a significant lead on your opponent.
Absolutely. Because it also gives you pretty good routing for when you want to get to the elevator. You can take certain routes to scope out items on the way to the elevator, which can make or break a situation.
We just saw, and I've never actually seen this before in a race. Yeah, Wooga's noticing it too. Proper wake-up herb use. Kyun was asleep, so he used the wake-up herb on him. You almost never see that.
Oh!
And he found the collar.
Okay.
Yeah, I think he's gonna. Yeah, he's going for the hatch. Very, very.
Oh no 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 no!
Oh.
I was about to say Razorflame got hit and should have just AI won Kyun and stepped away, in all honesty. And he got punished for it with that, what, 4% chance of miss?
Like, yeah, that was so unfortunate.
Oh,
so this would be a good time to. This would be a good time to explain that he made floor 15, and we can see on the state display it shows 0 floor out of 15 floor. So state display will track what his highest floor is. If Troy gets past floor 16, Razor will have to make up a lot of time and climb back up. But right now, until Troy does that, Razor is still considered in the lead. And now he's taking a trip through town.
Is this a Razorflame ritual going on?
I have no idea.
I'm guessing that's a good luck lap. Yeah, I'm just gonna go out on a limb and say that was a good luck lap. Which is pretty interesting.
And Troy has gotten the U-boat hatch, so...
Troy,
and he just dumped his
got rid of the wind crystal. He's feeling confident, I would say.
That is an interesting choice. He still had room in his inventory, and... you never know if you might run into that situation where you would absolutely need to use it, but... having this U-boat is... and as since Razor went down, he's got such a huge advantage right now.
Yeah.
U-boat comes with a few abilities. Submerge.
Wow.
Yeah, he's going to be using it right now. The Scout ability, which immediately reveals the whole map just like a Star Glasses.
Oh, and I think we just saw a little bit of tech there. I think the U-boat animation takes longer if you're zoomed out. So he zoomed in his camera beforehand, used the ability, and it popped almost immediately as soon as the U-boat left screen. Whenever I did a run with U-boat, I did not know that was a technique you could do and manipulate it. It takes significantly longer for that animation to go. So for speed running and racing, that's incredibly good and useful information to have. So Troylus is showing his experience very well there.
Yeah, so that the way the U-boat scout works is that the moment U-boat actually leaves your camera view is the moment that the map gets revealed. Aside from just speeding up the animation, this also prevents U-boat from getting confused. Sometimes it's actually even possible to soft lock the game with U-boat, I do believe, with him doing loops in a room. But yeah, so there's several definite advantages, but the one that is, of course, the most interesting is the fact that it's just simply faster. And a good thing to learn to do.
Yeah, I would say the whole zooming in for U-boat Scout is in the similar vein as getting used to quick casting or whatever you would call it, your familiar for AI 1 to 3 and all that. It's the same vein of how fast can you optimize your button presses and what you do in the game.
Yeah, and like Lucas says here, he said he'd like to see Troy switch U-boat to something else in AI5. Basically, when you get the blue collar and you put a familiar out on the second position, they default to AI5. And AI5 is pretty bad.
Yes.
Aside from monsters being much more willing to just throw their spell out at things and dump their MP that way, they can also just end up leaving Ko's side to go fight something.
Yes. If a familiar on AI5 is in a room and there is a monster on the other side of the room, the familiar on AI5 will just run at that monster regardless where its position was set for the other setting. I don't remember what it's called, but you can set your familiar, as we see with like Razorflame and Troylus. Most runners set the familiar behind them as default to prevent your familiar running into traps. Because if you're in front of your familiar, you're going to hit it first. And so AI5 basically forgoes that. Your familiar will not stay behind you. Your familiar will run at an enemy as far, like, let's say there's the occasional rare one room floor where the entire floor is just a giant square. If you have AI5, your familiar will go to the corner of that map from one corner to the other, if that's where the only monster is. Because everything knows where you are, and you know where everything is on that map. And that's why that AI5 is just notoriously bad, because you have no dictation on what your familiar does.
Troy here he's fighting a Garuda. Did he opt to skip the elevator? He might be searching for a Brawn, but he opts to leave.
Yeah, I wouldn't want to mess with Mirror Shield into Manuevas. Ooh! Another egg!
Now this is actually a very curious question, does he hatch this other egg? He's already got a U-boat, and U-boat is probably the second best monster you could find in a race setting. So does he go for the hatch?
Yeah, it's an interesting thing to ponder. I would at least check the percentage left on it, or look for a truth glass, one or the other. Uh-oh. Oh, well.
And Wooga says he was just leveling up, so Wooga's his coach. I would probably take that as the case as to why he was sticking around in that floor. Yeah, so with Razor here on floor 5 now, he's going up the elevator. He's definitely not going to be seeing too many issues at all. Kyun is over-leveled at this point. Kyun being level 11, he can literally just take care of everything for him.
Yeah. Level 11 is nearly to that sweet spot for Brid mixed magic, because the damage scaling on magic essentially caps at familiar level 15 from what I remember and what I've been told. So any levels higher than 15, the scaling on magic starts to dip. It's not as impactful. So Kyun at level 11 is going to be dishing out a lot of mixed magic, direct damage, Brid if he wants to cast it, but I don't think anybody is going to expend that much MP for a bridge. You only do that with something like Machine Gun Picket, because Pickets can eat literally any item in the game to restore MP. So you can just make them shoot magic like a wizard all you want. Am I the one having issues with the stream, or are you getting this too at the moment, Septic?
No, I'm not having any issues.
Okay, that was my end then.
But yeah, in terms of like, yeah, so with Kyun being level 11 on his side, the thing is, like, around level 10 is the soft cap for the damage increases that you get through mixture magic. Getting any higher levels on it, you don't really see a ton of difference. It still does grow in power, but it's so minuscule that it's just kind of pointless. This is definitely the point where either of these players can switch their Kyun to water or wind. Most likely water. For the benefits that brings. Which that's a mechanic we haven't really spoken of, is that spell levels do not go up if your familiar is not
the same element as it started. Every familiar has a coded what they should be, which U-boat is water, Kyun is fire. If you change them from their base element, their magic will not level up.
It's not necessarily that. It's actually about the spell's element. So like if you transfer Clown's wind spell over to Kyun and you keep Kyun fire, the wind spell won't level. Only his Brit will.
Ah.
So you have to you'll have to switch Kyun to wind, at which point Brit won't level up anymore. Yeah, at this point, Troy did find a C seed. I didn't see. Did he keep it? He didn't. Did he?
He threw the C seed. He threw it at the U-boat to wake it up for 3 MP.
Ah. I don't hate that. He still has a PETA. I would have honestly just went ahead and used the PETA.
Oh no. Please hit Kyun. Okay. Good. That was extremely close. Troy did do the right thing and use the egg as aggro on the Viper there. Vipers basically always go for eggs if they're in a room. So he used that well there, but he still got close to low health because Vipers hit hard. I like Razorflame's pacing over here, though. He's already back to floor 10 with a very solid inventory. It's not amazing, but it's next to amazing. Two Peter Fruits, Fire Crystal, which Fireball. Fire Crystal, I think, is one of those things that can soft lock the game and is inconsistent, but I still value it because it can come in handy. It's basically Acid Rain Ball on a budget.
Yeah, basically Fire Crystal will summon Salamander, which will run around. It'll attack nearby monsters. There are some quirks with it that causes it to sometimes miss. Unreasonably so, like you don't get the miss prompt or anything, it just misses. And then, just as Chimera said, it can actually soft lock the game if it gets out of view, and I think the conditions are that it levels up out of view.
Ah, that makes sense. Also, what are the percentage chance of the mirror shield not reflecting? Because that blind from the unicorn there actually hit, but it missed. Like it went through the mirror shield and did not get reflected. Is there like a, do you know percent off the top of your head for that?
Yes, the mirror shield has a 75% chance to reflect. In my experience, I actually never knew that it was on a percentage base until I joined the community, because I never had it not reflect until I joined the community. So,
right.
Yeah, it's one of those things that can easily escape someone.
Yeah, did we just get a Palumpa egg Truth Glass because Troy forgot the starting egg, or was that a Palumpa from 416?
With the 80 some odd percent there, 80%, that is definitely the starter egg. What I'm thinking happened is that was the egg he used to bait the Viper. So when it re-entered his inventory, it slid down below the other egg, and he was not
And he
keeping
didn't
track of
remember
that.
the name of it. Alright. That's unfortunate. We don't get to see what that egg is yet.
And at this point, floor 24, I'm leaning more towards him using the trick glasses on like his blinder, maybe his ice rock to know how many charges they have.
Oh,
And
look at that!
there's a
Paralyzed
huge
one!
paralyze.
Avoiding a very finicky scenario where that Viper woke up at the wrong time, and then it was the right time. Uh-oh, was that a misclick?
That I definitely think was. Luckily luckily Kyun was able to take the full 50 MP to hold on to. And that should do Kyun for the rest of the run. He still has the Palumpa egg and the blue egg that can also be fed to familiars for MP, so he's still alright.
Yeah.
It wasn't the worst mistake.
He does have... Ooh, poison. He does not have a means of getting rid of that poison. But he does have the recovery ball, as you stated. How do you do the recovery ball trick again? Just to heal yourself?
To heal yourself, you would absolutely need a repel ball.
Ah, correct. Okay.
Otherwise, the only use he has it for is really to heal Kyun. And that can really come into play if he lets him like fight a unicorn or something. Or a stealth. But for most monsters, you probably end up using that whole ball at this point to try and keep Kyun alive in a one-on-one fight.
Goodness gracious, Troy is hitting every single poison trap possible.
I bet he really wants a repel ball right about now. Oh, especially on...
He's on a stealth floor!
Yeah, I would like him...
Danger!
I would like to see the monster loop used here.
Oh no. Familiar bell immediately.
Nice.
He's very conscious of his inventory. That's good. Oh, I guess does he play with the state display where he can see it? Do you know that off the top of your head?
I imagine so. Like that's something runners should definitely do. And you can see on his as his HUD is completely off the screen, he doesn't have his HP values at all showing in game. So he is likely keeping track of all of his stats and stuff through the state display.
Oh. Keeping track of where that stealth was? I was looking over at Razorflame a few times, so I didn't realize that there was a stealth there, but he must have seen it go invis.
Taking the high ground, I like this. He can definitely take a hit from them with the high ground, but... Oh, I really wish he would use the Muncher Loop because a sneaky stealth attack can just put him at 1 HP.
Yes.
And those monsters don't want to go in that room.
Did they bump into another stealth that made their path? Another stealth got in the way. Another stealth was in the way, and so they turned around because of that.
That's actually not the reason. This is actually something that can happen on any floor with any room. I don't know what the cause is necessarily, but sometimes monsters just turn away from entering a room and refuse to go through it.
Odd. Honestly, I could see it being, like, because that was a stealth floor. It could have been a stealth getting in the way of all the others, but...
It makes sense, but usually the way monster pathing works is that in corridors they would stay opposite lanes if they're going opposite directions. They always stay to the left. And the same goes for rooms, like they would go straight towards an exit. Even if a stealth did interrupt the movement of one of those monsters, it shouldn't have turned all of them around.
Yeah.
It should have been able to get by and enter the room. But yeah, it looks like Razor's in a bit of a pickle here. He has Noel's on both sides, and that noise will easily take it out. Noise is hit so hard. They actually have some of the best attack scaling in the game. Or overall stat scaling.
Here's a blinder ball on Mandara. Mandaras are very hard hitting, but also squishy, so it's better to just forego them. Especially if he knows the elevator's right there.
That was a nice, quick floor 28.
Monster's taking naps everywhere, all the time. There he goes. Well, Razorflame's managed to get back up to floor 15 almost. Back to where he was stuck.
Yeah, but with Troy being on floor 30, it's getting almost to the point where he kind of needs a miracle. He kind of needs Troy to die, especially as long as this U-boat is still going. He always knows where the exit is. And the other benefit to that, it's not simply as being faster is good. Obviously, that is the case. But also, when you know where the elevator is, you take a direct path there and you don't use near as many resources getting there. Because you're never, like, wasting time. So, it's such a huge benefit that he has this U-boat.
Absolutely. U-boat with a solid inventory. Blinder? Yep. Blinder on the Napless. $5 says this Napless falls asleep in 2 turns.
Actually, I don't know if they can fall asleep while blonde. I think their AI just completely switches to walk straight.
It would have been pretty funny, though. It's like, blocks your way by falling asleep when it should be blind. Ooh.
Oh, now with that killer in there, you're aggroing bigger issues.
Yeah, uh-oh.
Oh, that's
no.
If he goes, that's a dead Kyun. That's... Yeah. Too much damage.
I would
Another restore scroll.
Yeah, he has that. I would maybe think about the malicious, or... Yes. He is indeed thinking of that malicious. Alright.
Kyun is now on his 3rd life. Which almost never happens. Generally, more often than not, a run will go by never seeing a single restore scroll. They're fairly rare. Okay. I wasn't sure if Berserk Tyrant actually cares about Holy Bell.
I would hope so. Berserk Tyrants would be so overpowered if not.
They do have some funny AI whenever they're Berserk, so I wasn't sure. Even their aggro mechanics change. They can actually stay latched to you for further than Manivas generally would, which is their default aggro ranges like Manivas. You can actually juke them at corners if you do it just right.
Goodness, Razorflame has a terrible first room here. Like, thankfully they're all... Oh, goodness. This does not look very handy. Is he just gonna plow through both of these with fireballs to get away from the... Yep. Oh.
He can Tumna. Yeah, Tumna. It would have taken at least 2 fireballs. Oh, and that Kyun movement. That is actually some movement I didn't understand from Kyun. Oh, and a monster den. Oh, we gotta listen to this.
Yeah. It's such a good soundtrack. He has nothing in his inventory against this room.
Oh, and we're gonna notice something on Troy's side. He's got a roast fruit. You want to tell us what that does?
Oh my goodness. Alright, when did he find that rose fruit? I was paying too much attention elsewhere. Roche fruit is
Had to be on the
probably one
floor.
of the strongest of the fruits in the sense that you get to pick and choose. Oh,
Oh no.
ooh. You
Now
get to
my
pick
bigger
and
time for it.
choose a monster to throw it at and turn it into a what 80% heat egg. You just get to it's basically a Pokeball.
Yeah, I wasn't entirely sure about the percentage. It is generally very high percent.
Yes, absolutely. He's
Yeah,
using it.
so like right here, use it 85%.
Razorflame is Razorflame just conceding at this point? Let me go check chat for a sec. No, I don't see anything. He just seems defeated.
He's probably looking at it to try and see if there's a way out. It's generally best to just sit there, don't actually take extra turns. You can easily ruin an opportunity to get out of a situation like this. But that being said, he does have one way out, and that would be the Wind Crystal.
Yeah. At 45 minutes in, that is a very painful thing to be contemplating. And yes, Troylus basically has a glacier that he can use as a egg bomb in an emergency, which is very solid because I imagine it would do decent damage. Other than on like a golem. I think a golem is the only thing that the glacier would not do very good damage against.
Yeah, that's mostly because of element. Against these dragons, it should be able to one-shot them. Glacier isn't actually a particularly strong monster, but with elemental advantage and the extra 50
Elemental
levels,
advantage
it's still
and-
strong enough.
Yeah, exactly. It's just gonna be beefy from raw stats that you can really only get with the Mazar Seed scaling. You cannot really get that much experience to level up eventually, and you have to roll. Ooh, no more fireballs. I don't think Acid Rain kills them either. Yes. This was absolutely the right call. The Mahel Seed is all he could do to get out of the situation because Acid Rain Ball does not one-shot golems, with Troy being level 22 on Ko. Nice sidestep.
Yeah, golems unfortunately being wind. Acid Rain is actually the only water element spell that is a damage spell. It's the only non-fire element damage ball. So it's definitely not useful against golems around here. Everything else, if Troy's level is high enough, it'll take care of even glaciers. But it is currently guaranteed to take care of all the fire monsters. Maximum, dragon, tyrants. I don't think tyrants are on the floors anymore at this point.
Do you mind if we take it back to Troylus' audio, as nice as the soundtrack is?
Yeah, I'll go and take care of that.
Since Razorflame seems like he's just, I guess, resigned to his fate.
Yeah, it definitely looks like.
Oh, alright, we got movement on Razorflame's side, though.
Was he soft locked?
I honestly don't know. Many more others in the chat would know than I.
He should have went around the other way. I mean, with the two Noels there, it's hard to say. As long as the troll and the other Noel stays asleep, there's still a Garud over there, though. I don't think there's any way he's getting to that elevator. That is so unfortunate.
It really is. The nastiest monster house we've seen.
Ouch. Oh,
That
Troy,
would have
be
been nice.
careful with your movement. You can't afford to stay in line with that dragon. Breath will kill right now.
Oh.
Yeah, they'll find that, that's the elevator room. Yeah, he's just letting them take him down. He could have win crystaled, he's definitely resigned.
Yes.
But there's still 10 minutes and Troy is really close to the exit. I say we go ahead and let him see if he can get to 440.
Absolutely. So I would say it's safe to say Troylus has gotten the first win. More so a win against the tower than Razorflame because, again, we're fighting the tower. The fun of racing against someone else is why we do it. You know, it's fun to have a bit of healthy competition. Because everything else is up to the tower and how you go about it. And boy, howdy, both competitors got slapped around by the tower quite a bit. But Troylus definitely made very good use of his knowledge as well as exploring floors and getting lucky in ways Razorflame got a diamond shield, Razorflame got good inventory, but Troylus got a U-boat egg and made the most out of his run with it. And look at this. He's at floor 37, which is phenomenal. Look how quick he is with that handling of... I didn't even realize that you could manage the zoom feature while you're summoning a familiar like that. Uh-oh.
Oh, maximums. Does he still have an acid rain charge?
I believe so. I don't think he's used it at all. If I was him right here, I would just use it on both of these, which is why he's stalling, maybe? Nope.
Oh, no. Now they're separated, so he won't be able to acid rain both of them.
Not the sand that he wants at all. He went for it because it could have been a white sand, and I'm pretty sure that's the only sand he would have cared for in this situation. Amazing elevator train. Can we get more? Oh, he knows where it is.
The other one.
He absolutely saw that. He is very, very used to this game and would have, like, that was a pretty obvious elevator. All right. Oh.
I'm guessing he's out of fire charges. He's just going to use the, this is something we haven't touched on. Munchers actually always hang left. So at every, at least in corridors, they always turn left. So what he was doing there was he was letting the maximum go by because he knew it was going to turn. And then letting the golem pass. That's a GG's. Congrats to Troy in this first round, 52.5 minutes.
Absolutely, it was a very, very good run. It's very nice that we get to see an entire clear in this start tournament. And it was technically in under an hour, which is phenomenal. It's what you strive for with this game.
That is generally the first time barrier. It actually took me quite a few months of running any percent with Kuhn before I actually subbed 1 hour myself. It's not particularly easy, and that's the reason why we actually ditch Kuhn in any percent now, because Kuhn actually just slows you down a ton fighting a lot of things.
Would you say it'd be safe for me to go ahead and call the round and give them the go-to for the next seed?
Yeah. This is the official Making floor 40 first is automatically win.
Automatically win.
Yeah. And here shortly, Revan is going to be taking over comms from me. I was just stepping in for a while he was getting home from work.
Well, it's been very, very handy to have you here, Septic Tank. Thanks for giving me insight that you had and, keeping us all company.
Yeah, no problem. I'll chill here until he's actually in here. Make sure nothing comes up.
Well, you spoke too soon because he's already here. He is Lord English himself.
Welcome, Revan. How are you, sir?
Not too bad. Just got off of work. Thanks for filling in for me, buddy.
Yeah, no problem, man.
I took care of him.
Have fun with the rest of this.
Yeah, so what happened? We got a win for Troylus, it looks like.
Yes, Troylus had an impeccably good run, utilizing all of the U-boat tricks. Actually had a slight detour on about floor 12, I believe it was, where he found the U-boat egg and Razorflame didn't. And then at floor 15, Razorflame took a hit and I think he straight up just fainted and had to redo the flower entry. Tower entry, not flower. He was actually ahead, though. He had a very solid inventory. He had a diamond shield. He was doing wonderful with a paralyzed wand as well. Solid stuff, and he got unlucky and knocked out at floor 15 with a solid, I think, 3-floor lead at the time. And then Troylus just took the rest of the game with the U-boat.
Yeah, that U-boat will definitely do that. I don't think we've actually seen a U-boat be hatched in this tournament yet. That's pretty neat. They're one of their. I mean, they're
No,
probably.
I hatched one.
Did you? Oh, okay.
Yeah, I hatched one. I think just last week.
Okay, sweet, sweet. They're really, really nice. Not Garuda good, but definitely up there for sure.
Yes. Well, I mean, they take out RNG factor, so if you had both, it'd be busted because you'd know where you're needing to go and all that. Just give me a sec for confirming these seeds. You can.
6129. Looks like they're both good.
Awesome.
Okay, so seeing as I'm coming in late, I guess I'll recap everybody. Generally, we're probably going to see the first 5 or so explored. First 5 floors, maximum of 40. Obviously, we just saw that on Troy's side. Build up a bit of an inventory because those floors are relatively safe. We have seen in previous tournament matches that even floor 2 can be pretty dangerous depending on what you find. A flame as your first encounter can be pretty rough. But ideally, we'll find a troll rather quickly and be able to get level 2 right off the bat. That'll give us a nice 10 extra HP and quite a bit of survivability, and they should be pretty good from there.
Yes.
Have we seen good use of Kuhn in the previous seed?
Yes. Troilus definitely made use of the safe strat with Kuhn in positioning so that Kuhn AI ones, picking Kuhn up, putting him back, stepping back, getting another hit, and then taking out enemies with no difficulty there. I saw him use that very consistently. I don't think I saw Razorflame use it, but I could have just missed it. I did see him do a few times where he used Kuhn appropriately, but I think his run was pretty straightforward. Very very just fast paced. I think he was going for speed, so he didn't use the safe strat as much.
Right,
The
right. Yeah,
times that I
doing the
did,
full AI one does take a bit of time. It is a lot safer, and there are runners. I know Shawnee's a big big proponent of that one as well. But it does cost time, and in a race setting, I can see the benefits of both.
Yeah,
Wooga
I
says
think.
that we saw 2 restore scrolls used. That's a pretty generous seed.
Yes, I think there was a total of 3 used. Troylus got 2 in his seed, but then he got a full clear of the tower. Razorflame only got 1 use before he passed, and had to redo the flower tower entry. So there
Got, fl-
was that.
got flowers on your mind today.
Yeah, I don't know what's up. It's tongue tied here.
Well, we should see the runners be off here. Oh, Razor needs a minute. Okay, so not. Oh, okay. So, what would you like to see out of this next match, Kim?
I would like to see Razorflame putting up a good fight again. I mean, he had a solid 30 floors. He ran into the most inconvenient monster den ever, and basically lost. But he had a lead. He had a very significant lead, both inventory and just playstyle wise, on Troylus for the first portion until he had to do the second entry. And honestly, the U-boat, phenomenal movement by Troylus and use of items and knowledge of the game. Troylus has been a very solid competitor every time that I've seen stuff regarding him. So I'm pretty set on seeing him being consistent. I would like to see Razorflame put up a good fight, basically. I liked what he was doing, and I had high hopes for him, especially with him plowing through the second iteration of the tower. He was doing very good, and I was excited to see what would happen. But the U-boat was just too phenomenal on Troilus's end.
Yeah, the U-boat is really powerful. It's definitely not like a fighting type thing, but utility-wise, top-notch.
Yeah, it comes in handy if it's getting the levels, but I don't think you want to leave it out because of the fact that the scout does chug quite a bit of MP, so it's not like you're gonna have it out to battle. But there was a situation when I had the U-boat where I did not have access to Kuhn and had to use the U-boat for damage. It does put in good damage. It does save you, especially since by the time you get to the floor 24, 30 area, you need that water element to actually do damage to the enemies there. So it can come in very handy in a plethora of ways depending on your situation. And we're just waiting here for Razorflame to get back to us. There was information regarding that he might need to eat for a second, so I'm going to go and confirm if that is what's going on.
I think that was Troy on if it went to round 3, but that is possible. I might have mixed that up.
Yeah, wait.
I'm
No,
not
you
sure.
are correct. You are correct on that. So I don't know what it is with Razorflame at the moment, but he needs
maybe he just got some nerves, needs to take a moment to, gather himself and cool off a little bit.
I mean,
Tower
yes,
can be pretty mean, and it's something. Azure Dreams is a kind of a game where it can be really fun to play, but it can also be really, really frustrating if things aren't going your way. And from the sound of it, that is kind of what happened to Razor. Hitting a monster den, I believe that's the 3rd monster den he's hit in this tournament. So they can be pretty rough. I think it was the 2nd one that he hit. It was actually like floor 2 or 3. And he did actually give everybody a bit of a show, letting the hype music from the den play and killing everything in the room. But it's just something you kind of just have to take it on the chin, and sometimes it can be overwhelming. You can be playing really, really well, and then all of a sudden you take one step and it's all over to a paralyze or a sleep trap or something like that, and there's just nothing you can do unless you're gonna literally swing at every tile. There's nothing you can do to really prevent that kind of thing, and it can be really, really frustrating.
absolutely. And yeah, honestly, Razorflame, when that monster didn't happen, he just stopped playing, and I don't know if that's because of his mental, or if it was because something else happened IRL. But regardless what happened, he is now good, so I'm just gonna wait for him to be in front of the house and have confirmation, and we'll be set for round 2 of the start tournament. Troylus versus Razorflame versus the tower times 2.
Pretty much, yeah. Not only it is a race setting, but realistically speaking, it is each runner versus the tower, because the tower is just absolutely cruel, and it is the true enemy here. The race bit is more for just a for fun thing, but the tower's personal.
Mm-hmm.
And it looks like Razor is in position. It should be getting a countdown any moment now. They should be off and ready to go. I don't know. I would like to see a bit of a rougher seed, maybe. There's been no. I mean, just from a perspective, a lot of the matches that we've seen in this tournament have been pretty generous. Last week, we saw like half an inventory full of nothing but spell balls. And while that's fun to watch, you know, just being able to blitz your way to the top and everything, I think it's also really entertaining to watch people get out of bad situations with virtually nothing. You know, you start with that one fireball, and making that last as long as you can by good movement, maneuver juking, AI1 strats, things like that.
Dancing.
Yeah, exactly. All of those are really hyped to watch, and it's kind of the point of the tournament, is watching the newer runners get better and learn certain strategies and implement them in a race setting. So I think I'd like to see a little bit, not a, you know, a straight up death seed or a famine seed, but one that's a little rougher.
Yeah, I mean, we did have. Not only did they get a seed with a diamond shield, paralyzed one, 2 holy bells, 2 restore scrolls, a U-boat egg. Like, yes, you're absolutely right in that these seeds have been generous. Because then in Razorflame's second seed, he had a phenomenal inventory. He had 2 wooden wands, a decent shield. I think he got a leather shield. And his inventory was solid. Like, he had a phenomenal second tower entry inventory as well. So it would be nice to see a little bit more difficulty. It's definitely interesting because, like, to get good at this game, you do have to be good at the rough spots. I'd say more than the good spots, because the game, when you're in a good spot, doesn't punish you as hard as being backed into a corner. That's when you have to make those really hard decisions. And if you're speedrunning, if you are racing this game and you have to make tough decisions fast, you are more likely to make a incorrect, wrong, or just difficult, you know, puts you in a bad situation. So the faster you are at it and the better and more consistent you are at it is what really comes down to it, and that comes from experience. So getting those rough seeds would be interesting.
Ooh, and we get an early troll. That's very nice to see.
Yeah, for both players. Now, in regards to following on the second and third rounds, do we follow the audio of the winner of the last round until somebody takes a lead?
No, it's generally, well, yeah. I assume it's Troy in this case. If Razor ends up taking the lead, just, you know, I mean, they're pretty much on the same floor right now anyway, but
yeah.
I generally don't worry about it until, you know, maybe floor 6-ish, and then can kind of swap back and forth as the leads change, but not a big concern there. Not yet, anyway.
Yeah. I was just curious in terms of etiquette due to the fact that typically people are on the same pace floor 1 and 2. Wow. Call it
And
in already.
yeah, and that was pretty. That's kind of a weird layout for floor 2. All these tiny rooms and winding hallways. And
Can always
I mean, there wasn't really a whole lot of items either, but the items that they did find were pretty good. I mean, the water ball's not great, but it has its uses. The Oleem is a free out.
free go away Kraken.
Yeah, or snowman if you get that high, or I mean, even griffins and things like that, really. Could it be a fire crystal, maybe? Oh, the hype crystal. Love to see it. Oh,
No.
what is this
Wow.
blasphemy? Razor.
Yeah,
Oh,
I
no.
here, right? I love Salamander.
I can see on the higher floors because the level of Salamander doesn't scale, so he does drop off pretty significantly on higher floors. But these early floors, he's guaranteed one-hit kill, and he gets 2 turns like a Picket does, so he can run through a lot of enemies really quickly.
Plus, I mean, he does attack twice per turn. He's basically on a mail. He can move and then attack. He can attack twice. It's insane. But, what do we got? Wow! We're just getting Paralyzed Wand Seeds today. How much do we want to bet that the 3rd tower, if we go to a 3rd tower, has a Paralyzed Wand?
An early one at that, yeah, and an early stream wand. Not particularly useful at the moment, but it's definitely something that they want to find. Get that out of the way, and especially while they have the inventory, to not have to throw away like really good items later. They can kind of just stow that away and forget about it until, yeah, I don't know,
Oh?
11, 12, something like that.
Razorflame foregoing full clearing the floors? He did that a bit in the first round and missed out on a few items. But at least we know that the stream wand that Troylus has is not cursed.
Oh, that's not good.
AI1?
Kyun, if he puts Kyun on AI1 or 4, Kyun should be able to hold his own for a little while, but Razor's in a bit of a spot here. That shield isn't particularly great. The wand is nice for mixed magic, but on its own, it's not really doing a whole lot, so...
Yeah, he's gonna need to use a fireball and change to the copper sword, probably. Unless does the stream wand have a water affinity that makes it do more damage to fire types?
It does. It will do more damage than like a wood wand to the flame there, but it's still only, it was like what, 6 damage I saw.
Yeah.
It's still not a whole lot. He's better off with the copper sword.
Good movement. Good movement.
Yeah, it's not as important in the hallways. I don't think that they'll cast spells in the hallway, but once you're in a room, you don't want to be in a line with certain monsters, Flame being one of them, that have direct spells, because they are more than happy to cast it on you. And Sled in particular can be pretty rough early on. Like, it can do upwards of, I don't know, 8 to 10 damage, depending on what level you are at the time. It can be pretty rough. Which is one of the main reason that you don't want to fight them as your first encounter or anytime before level 2 hits. Because they can pretty easily kill you in 2 to 3 hits. And they have 20 HP, so unless you throw a sword or use a fireball charge, you're just going to straight up lose in a one-on-one fight with them.
Ooh, I would have liked to have seen Razorflame grab that herb.
Yeah,
and
check that herb, yeah.
But I guess he felt a little bit...
Yeah, he might have been a little concerned about Kyun. I don't think Kyun was in combat, but he had been wandering around the floor for a while, and he did have a bit of a monster train on him, so...
Yeah,
like I said, I would have liked to seen him pick that herb up, though. Even if it was something like a wake-up herb that he didn't want, he could have still stepped on the elevator and got rid of it for free, because lifting an item is actually does not consume your turn.
Yeah, that's why it's like it's mostly his mental was not there. He wasn't aware of it, and he let the situation and him having to probably race get in the way of, hey, I can grab this herb. Because it could have been an anti-chaos, it could have been a cure-all, it could have been a Roem, and all of those are very solid because you don't want to run into a trap and be chaos, confused, whatever the term is for it, where you don't have control of Co. That's just the worst thing. So herbs are still something that if you can get it for free, which he could have there, could have taken.
Yeah, I've noticed Razor didn't check that crystal either. I know a lot of runners. The selling point of this tournament is that re-entry is allowed. That's the unique feature of this one. Generally, in our tournaments, we do a once and done entry, and whatever you get is what you get. So runners will generally try and find at least one wind crystal. He does have one in his inventory, but that crystal could have been a water crystal, which I hope he wouldn't have thrown away like the fire crystal, but I guess he's feeling confident enough that he doesn't need to bother with it.
Mm.
Oh, the frog trap on Troy's side. Luckily, he didn't get into any kind of a situation there. The frog can be a little rough because you do have control of Co, but you can't use mixed magic. You can't use anything from your inventory. And if you're in a room with your familiar, it will try to defend you because, well, you're essentially defenseless. And that can be really bad and a really easy way to lose your familiar, so... Luckily, he was pretty close to the exit, and there wasn't anything coming in that room anyway, so he was pretty safe there, but... Frogs can be pretty bad.
Yes. I have a actually interesting question. There was a moment where, on the right, Razorflame was being pursued by a Manueva, and there was a left turn. If Razorflame took a moment to pick Kyun up at the right moment, and then move up, could he have de-aggroed that Manueva because of Q no longer being near it?
As far as I'm aware, monsters only aggro to your familiar if they are next to them.
Yeah, the Manueva was right behind Q. It was one tile.
I think the Maneva would have still been aggroed. I didn't see the situation specifically. I would have hazard to guess that it still would have been aggroed if it was. If it wasn't already aggroed, it may have wandered off.
Because I would have made the attempt. Because it would have been handy and also silly. It is hilarious to see U-boats and Manuevas get bullied by the player. I love to see it happen. Because they deserve it. They're the most irritating enemies in the game early on and mid-game, and
yeah, the Maneva are one of, I believe, 2 monsters that are recurring through the tower in its different levels. The troll being the other. They get stronger at a higher level and whatnot, but they also change their weapon. The Maneva actually get a little tricksy where they learn abilities that they can turn into items to trick you or turn into other monsters, and well, that can be pretty bad depending on what it is. Something like Annapolis is now water element instead of fire. But they are particularly annoying, and it is really, really nice to see them get bullied, like you say, because the Maneva specifically, because they can transform into items, they have a decreased aggro limit. So you can avoid them at certain kinds of corners and entering and exiting rooms if the room is big enough. Can also get them to choose a different exit. And U-boats are just, I mean, they're fantastic as you're familiar, but as an encounter in the tower, they are rough. They will generally always get the first hit, and you're going to be fairly low level by the time you reach them, so they do a lot of damage. And they're one of the early water monsters that you find as well, which makes them particularly difficult to deal with, because Kyun will always be fire. And a clown hatch! I almost want to see him just swap Kuhn for the clown, to be honest.
I mean, there are water monsters here. What in the world? Okay, early Palumpa Egg Bomb. Say no to Bloom.
I don't hate that. He does have the Maneva behind him and a clown now as well. If he chose to fight him, he would have been taking damage from both sides. And then the clown also would have come in and replaced the Maneva. He would have taken a lot of damage there or gone through a lot of resources. So the cost of one egg and being guaranteed to be able to just continue walking wasn't a bad play. Now that I don't know how I feel about the Olim. That clown is a little damaged, and it is wind. With Kuhn being fire, he should be able to kill that relatively easily. Maybe he just doesn't want to risk getting low downed and losing his levels.
Perhaps. But yeah, I feel Razorflame is doing some very safe, very fast-paced decision-making, which is very good to get in the habit of doing. So, I'll give him credit on that.
Ooh, Troy, 4 Manevas in a U-boat. That's not what you want to see. Okay, 3 of them just disappeared. That is their decreased aggro range that I was talking about before.
Very good use of this Manueva encounter on a high ground, so he takes less damage and forces the U-boat to basically wait around until the Manueva's gone. Uh-oh, more U-boat dancing here?
And can he stack them?
Yes,
it's gonna take
but it's
some
gonna be
clever.
finicky.
It's gonna take some clever movement from Kuhn to get them stacked, I think. I know Troy has done this many times in previous matches where he actually manipulates Kuhn to move over top of where the U-boat would like to
Have?
Yeah, and it makes the U-boat actually move instead because it can't actually
Oh man.
re-emerge while there's something in its tile, which makes it
That was
much
beautiful.
safer than just, walking around. But now, this is rough. This is a situation for Troy. He was doing all right there, but now that he's getting cut off by 2 more monsters and a fire crystal, that should do wonders for him here. Still gonna take a bit of damage, but having Kuhn to split some of it is gonna help that as well.
Yeah, I guess that wasn't a mistake. When you use a spell or crystal in this case like that, what happens is your screen gets locked in a way where Kuhn, since he's set to be behind Ko, once Ko finishes casting, Kuhn paths behind Ko, and I wasn't sure if that was on purpose or not, but it still worked to his favor because, like you said, split the damage between them, and Troylus is now looking very solid ahead because of that movement and itemization usage. I did not see what happened, but Razorflame wind crystalled out.
Yeah, I was busy watching the Troy get out of his spot, and Razor looked pretty good the last time I saw him. He was dealing with 2 blooms and had 1 confused, and got to floor 9 and crystalled out. He still had some supplies. It must have been pretty bad, or maybe he was cursed or something. I know he puts a lot of value on not being cursed, so maybe that was the case.
I don't blame him.
Either way, he has that Stream Wand and a Fireball with 7 charges, and some levels on Kuhn, so his second climb here should be pretty smooth, I would think.
I would say so, yes. I don't know how that Fireball is at 7 charges, if he got a bunch of white crystal white sand or not, or if he got a Fireball with that much, but that is a beefy Fireball.
Yeah, especially considering that he did use a charge on a clown, which either he had a second fireball or he had 8 charges at the time.
Yeah, I don't think I've seen Troy have a whole bunch of white crystals, so I think that's a fresh fireball. He might have used up all the charges on his other fire and got another one from the tower.
And that is possible. Troy could have just missed finding a second fireball. He is on floor 10 and has taken the lead now.
Yep.
Oh, is Razor gonna take the shortcut here? It looks like he is. Yes, the floor 1 shortcut. You love to see that. And ooh, and a leather shield.
No curse?
No curse even. Wow.
Alright, he's still in it. I guess he's looting?
Yeah, he's definitely looting now. I don't necessarily agree with this play. He does have that fireball, Cune's level 6 with a stream wand. I don't think he really needs to, but it's not super big of a floor, and he did jump down to the way to the exit, I believe, so decurse, not particularly useful at the moment. I don't think he's really going to be equipping anything at this point with a stream wand, unless he finds a scarlet wand, in which case that's a must equip.
Yeah. Now this is a part where Troylus, any runner in his situation is going to be having fun, is Dreamin'. Dreamin' are really easy to take out on floor 10. They're basically experience, and they make up for floors 6 to 9 being a drought of, let me get to the elevator and ignore all of these annoying and pesky enemies. Where you just don't get that much experience because you're spending more time avoiding them than you are defeating them.
Ooh.
And that's why... Ooh,
and
water ball.
The water strats, that's not a bad idea. He can let Cune just solo tank this now, and he should only take 1 damage a hit, yeah. And that's exactly what he's going to do. That is a really good good play there. He was in a bad position with the low ground there, and suddenly it's even ground on Cune and only taking 1 damage a hit. And he's even speeding up. This is actually some really nice tech from Troy right now.
Absolutely. Making his screen zoomed in so that it considers the combat to be off screen, and so the game doesn't do the animations and instead just does the calculations. Ooh. So it goes much, much faster. I like that a lot. He used that with the U-boat.
We get a C seed and a floor 11 egg.
Yep.
This first tower is actually looking pretty nice right now. Oh, and his water charge wore off. That hurt a little bit there.
Yep. Combination of the water charge running out and the Griffin deciding, you fire.
And I assume that Troy's mentor for this tournament is Wooga, who's nicknamed Garwooga because he gets Garudas all the time. So I'm assuming that Troy knows the floors that you can find Garudas on, which starts at 11 and ends at 20. So I would not be surprised at all. Oh, it's definitely not a Garuda. It's a dupe of a previous egg. So actually I think that's a second clown, because didn't Razor hatch a clown already?
We've got 2 clowns. You're right. You are absolutely right. Razor got a clown and hatched it. So yes.
Well, at least I would be very surprised if we saw him hatch it now, because that should be a dead giveaway for him that it is definitely not a Garuda.
Yeah, no. Troylus is incredibly well, like, he is very good at this game from what I've seen. He is very knowledgeable. He knows that ochre egg is not a Garuda, or it could be a U-boat, but I don't think he's going to be particularly strapped for hatching it.
Yeah, he might be waiting to see if he is able to get the blue collar, because while the U-boat is nice, it is really time consuming to use if you don't have a second collar. And there it is. Having to put your Cune away, pull the U-boat out, use Scout, put the U-boat away, and pull Cune out every single floor is really, really time consuming and annoying to do.
Absolutely. What another annoying thing for Troylus is he just threw his decurse scroll away on like floor 11 against the Griffin, and then encounters a cursed mirror shield.
Yeah, and as Wooga points out, he also got rid of his Stream Wand, which is kind of hurting him at the moment. He could have, with that C-Seed, he could have Water Cune now with Stream Wand mix and be doing a lot more than what he's done. I mean, he's already doing a lot of damage, but he could be doing a lot more.
Yeah. Oh, Griffin got aggroed weird.
Oh, okay. Kraken,
100%
meet the Oleem fruit.
It's like you immediately know when that is happening, when it's a Kraken.
Pretty much, if you see a Kraken, the first thing you do is think, do I have an Oleem fruit? Because Krakens and Oleems and Snowmen, they just go together.
Wow. Immediate Pita Fruit for Cune. Didn't even contemplate Cune being at 66 MP and not maximizing that MP usage. Just very fast, yep, it's fine. Which is fine because honestly...
He does have one in his inventory, so... Oh, a Restore Scroll on floor 5. They're something you hope you don't ever have to use, but it's something you... I mean, honestly, I like to have them in my back pocket just because, but... It is something that you hope you never have to use.
Goodness gracious, Troylus is having an impeccably good run here. He is getting good items, and then he just happens to run into an elevator to dip out against that Kraken. Not have to waste an item on it or anything. Alright, good use here of Troylus of Wind Seed on a pesky Manueva he spawns next to. It is the least effective thing in his inventory, and yet still solves his problem. Which is what you kind of want to... It's like you want to use the most effective thing you can do with the least value, I guess you could put it. And he's not even caring about playing gacha games. He's continuing on, so...
And one of the most valuable resources that runners have is actually their HP. Because you'll notice that as they're running through the tower or skipping turns in some cases, your HP does regenerate pretty quickly, and realistically all you need is one.
Absolutely.
So yeah, sometimes it's best to just take a little bit of a beating here and there, and being able to split the damage with Cune as well really helps mitigate a lot of that, and you regen at the same pace. So I like to see that sometimes. It's not always about inventory use. It's a lot of it's about inventory management. Do I need to use an item for this situation? Sure, it might be faster, but you could also really, really need that item in a few floors' time, and it won't be replenished. So it's a balancing act.
Yep. Like, literally, Troylus just got rid of the decurse scroll for inventory management, and then runs into a mirror shield, so...
Yeah, exactly.
You never know when it will happen. The tower, you're fighting the tower, and the tower has hands. It will throw them. You're going to experience it. No matter when, where, or how you play this game, the tower is going to slap you around. We saw Razorflame run into it. He had one of the worst monster dens I've ever seen. On floor 16, Nayuls, Garudas, and it was a long, narrow room as well. It wasn't a big fat room. It was narrow and extremely long, meaning there was like
No escape.
I would say at least 15 enemies in the room, if not more. So there was no escape. It was just too many enemies due to the fact that they had so many areas to land in on a fat room. A skinny fat room. Wow, Troylus is just elevator, elevator, elevator. Amazing inventory. Razorflame is catching back up to his 9th floor, though. We've got Nolim fruit sitting here for him, so that's gonna help. I like that he has a familiar bell, so if we get any warp traps or Garuda abductions, he won't be too worried.
Yeah, they are really, really nice for the unexpected warp trap, but it is also pretty neat, a kind of a niche thing. You can use if you're in usually in a large room, you can command your familiar to lure enemies away from a door, and then leave. And when you leave, your familiar will be lost, and use the bell and return it. I actually learned that from Shawnee in, I believe it was the previous tournament. I don't think I ever actually got a chance to use it, but having the knowledge that that is something, like another use for an item that I would otherwise generally not want. That's kind of what the game is about, you know what I mean? You work with what you have and you make the best of it.
Yeah. It's unfortunate here that Troy is encountering these vipers in hallways when he's got 3 eggs, but I guess that's the life you live sometimes. Oh, making use of this viper to redirect the arachne and then taking a hit.
Yeah, you can't do that. Binding is a free lift though, very nice.
Arachne are too thick to pick up, so he's just gonna want to circumvene them the best he can. He is throwing down a
that's a nice friend to have on these floors. The spiders are really strong. Maybe not so much against a unicorn, but you know.
Yeah,
I don't think the spider's not winning this fight.
No. Unless the unicorn throws out more blinds and misses. Oh, there he goes.
Yeah, it was a nice out though. He got a few steps away, and that's all he needed because elevator up to 22 now, or 21 actually. Oh, and the C seed for Razor here. It's a little early to be considering changing element because his spell won't level up.
Oh no, I think there has to be use of fire.
Yeah, that's a fire charge. You can't use mixed magic with a confused familiar.
And there's a chance, isn't there a chance that can smack you?
He won't if it's just I don't think he will if it's just you, but he did try to attack that that Palumpa, and he could have ended up hitting Ko there, yes. And the floor 21 egg could be a spider, but I think that's about the only good thing we can get at this point. We're past Garuda floors.
Oh, I would absolutely hatch it at 43%. He's doing it.
Yeah, that's actually pretty high for a random egg heat to be at. That's
could it be a barong?
Barong, I'm not sure. It would be on the cusp, I think, if it is. It could definitely be a spider though, which I think is the best thing that he can get here, and maybe I assume what he's hoping for here, because he could fuse that into Kuhn. Unicorn, not what you want to see. Could be fused for blind proof though. It won't change element because fire beats wind, so that's just okay, and he's freeing it. I kind of would have liked to see him fuse it, to be honest, because that would also make Ko immune to blind. Familiars that have proof status, like blind proof, rust proof, also extend to Ko, and if you have a second familiar out at them as well. So that could have been a nice thing to not have to worry about blind traps, but Confused U-boat, you love to see it, but losing to 1 in 8, that sucks.
Indeed, it does. Also, I was gonna say, I mean, at the very least, the unicorn would have been a what 6 to 8 blinder balls, if you want.
Yeah.
Like, it's something. It's something. It's a reason enough to not throw it away. But
Yeah, it
Troylus,
takes a little bit of setup time, but yeah, it's free blind effect. It's not guaranteed to hit though, which is kind of the problem.
yeah.
But that is something that's a little interesting though. We've seen some of the lesser used monsters actually get uses in this tournament. Plushie a week or so ago actually was running around with a volcano and just using its lava rock ability just because free ice rock, why not? Not something that I would personally do, but getting use out of it is, if you spent the time to hatch it, might as well get something out of it, right?
Yeah.
I think Razor's gonna go for probably a roughly level 10 here, if he can help it, because he does have that C seed. Level 9 isn't terrible either. He does have a nice position here, having high ground on enemies walking in.
Oh man, 2 Mayhel seeds for Troy here. 2 Holy Bells. He has got such a good inventory. Does he just elevator here? Yes, he's gonna elevator to avoid the Viper.
And right next to a spell ball and another seed. Yeah, use that medicinal herb, free up space for the ball. And not really what you want to see, but not bad either.
Yeah, it's something. It's a distraction against fire and water stuff, unless it's a snowman, because snowmans cheat. Wait a second.
Oh!
How did he smell that?
I think it's because it was close enough that he couldn't run anymore, so he knew there was something near, and without it being seen, putting Qn on AI1, monster being invisible only really works against Ko, so not a kill, but now Ko gets the experience in one hit, so it worked out pretty nice. And another elevator, moving up to 25. This is a pretty solid climb for Troylus right now. And he sees the elevator on a spin there. Yep, might as well just feed the PETA right now. Maybe check the sand, could be white. Oh, he wants the leather, but he's cursed.
Yep. Razorflame did change Kuhn's affinity to water a little early. I would say it's early just because floors 10 to 15 are not all that threatening to, in my opinion. Like 13, 14 starts to be because of Krakens, but not enough to change Kuhn, because CUNY's not going to be getting any more levels for Brid now, and so CUNY's water Brid mix magic is now going to be capped at level 10 indefinitely, which means you're kind of doing it a bit early, because what was it? I think Septic said that the soft cap is level 10 for magic, and then I guess the hard cap is 15, where then the damage scaling starts to just become...
Yeah, it's roughly between level 9 and 11 are where you're going to get your damage from. Anything after that is pretty negligible. 10 is a pretty decent level to do it at, just because of the way that the calculations for how the damage is done with this particular mix magic. 10 is kind of the sweet spot. You can get a little more going up to 15, but it's pretty negligible.
Ah, okay. I could have sworn it was 15 for... I guess it was maybe a different spell then.
Yeah, level 9 is 90%, 10 is 90.9. It's really not worth it. I mean, if you have the seed early, you might as well do it between like 9 and 11.
Uh-oh.
Especially if you already have the stream one. Ooh, and a blinder ball. That's an amazing tool. Oh, Troy playing a little fast and loose here, running straight into this room.
Decur scroll?
He's hoping for that so bad. He has to be. That the mirror shield, while it's not particularly bad, there are enemies. I mean, not really so much anymore. Pretty much just dragon at this point, I believe, has direct magic. But yeah, he did find that leather shield, and it feels bad not being able to equip a leather shield.
Absolutely. Right now, I don't know if Razorflame knows the parameters of what, familiar this egg could be, this russet egg, but if I'm correct, 11, it could start being a Garuda, correct?
Yes, 11 to 20. And this is a different climb, so it very well could be a Garuda. It's not guaranteed to be a second clown like Troy found.
Yeah, so he is going for the hatch, and maybe he knows because he is going to hatch it. We're gonna see what it is. So hype. What do we want to see other than Garuda? I guess U-boat because he needs it. He needs it to catch up. I guess he could make use of Griffin to avoid annoying pickets. He doesn't want to see a clown. He already got a clown. He's probably gonna just be a little bit miffed. But yeah, he needs a Garuda, and I think only U-boat could really help him out, other than Garuda. Otherwise, I think he's just gonna be too slow.
If he can,
from Troylus, one-shotted by clown.
Yeah, the clown is a little bit of a dangerous egg bomb because it has the lowdown. Some of them aren't bad per se that have spells, but lowdown just de-levels something if it hits. So kind of a wasted turn if it chooses to do a spell. But luckily he did get a hit, and it was a pretty beefy hit. When you throw an egg, it actually hatches at 50 levels above Ko, so that was a level 68 clown.
Chugging those Mazar seeds, I see. Is there a level cap? Is 99 the highest level?
I believe so, yes.
So let's see, about 60 or 50 Mazar seeds. That's a lot.
And it's just a volcano. Oh man, that's rough.
Yep, it is pretty rough. I mean, maybe we'll see some tech from Razorflame, but he doesn't have. He is on floor 12. Did we see a blue collar? Did he get it from the monster?
I don't. This is the first time he's been to floor 12. I don't think he's found it yet. Oh, and the mini. Oh, that hurt. 34 damage.
Holy Bell, maybe. Sleep. Yeah, sleep.
Okay. If it works, and it worked, it worked.
Egg bomb, sleep, blinder.
Not a bad choice. He doesn't have the Olim to just get rid of it, so. Oh, and the snowman took out the Maneva, still sleeping. What a way to go.
Wait, why did that happen?
If a monster runs into another monster while it's blind, it will attack until something moves, and that Maneva was sleeping and didn't wake up from it.
Oh man, that's hilarious.
Yeah.
This is a complicated room, but he might just breeze through it. Yep.
Lord 430.
Go to sleep. Yeah, Troy is immaculate.
Oh, and check the decurse. Oh, trap scrolls.
Now I have a question. How is Troy stepping on these without picking them up? Is he like holding circle for a split second?
Yeah, if you take a step and then hold circle on an item, it will act like you ran on it and
You can
prevent
take
you from stepping on it. Yeah.
you can take a step and then press circle. All right. Also, interesting thing we saw there just now on Troy's side was Veldo came down to do his dialogue, and monsters are not rendered. So that Berserker Tyrant just kind of spawned from thin air after Beldo fucked off. Pardon me. Decided.
Yeah, and the monster spawning is actually RNG. Even if the runners were on the same tower climb, they would not have necessarily had the same monsters or the same spawn locations there.
Oh my goodness. Troylus taking such a risk here. 10 health left.
Oh, yeah, you can't do that with poison. He's gonna fall from you every time you take a step. He did push him out of the room though, so that should make him sleep there for a good while. Oh, and not a single Scarlet one this entire time.
Nope, not allowed.
Meanwhile, Razor tossing a decurse scroll.
Yep. Let's see if that's going to bite anybody in the butt again. Though, I think Razor's weapon and armor shield are actually solid enough that he doesn't really want to trade. I don't think... Only thing is Scarlet one, but Kuhn is water, so there's no that's fine.
At this point, I don't think... Oh, that's gonna hurt, yeah. I don't think Razor is actually going to change his equipment anymore, so... It shouldn't bite him.
Yeah.
Floor 32 for Troy, 45
I would like
minutes.
to see Troy sit here and recover some health at an elevator because, like, this is scary. Though I know most things can probably one-shot him right now.
Oh, for sure.
It's still, this is just really scary territory to be at not full health.
That's... He can
Pick
take
up.
a hit here. If he doesn't get crit... Okay, and Kuhn took it, that's nice. Bind Ball, nice choice.
Does he pick up and throw here or just walk to the...
The misstep, but it didn't bite him. Berserk! Floor 33.
We didn't get an angle on an elevator there, but this layout looks like it's tinier. We might see an easy elevator again just to the fact that... Okay.
Check that loop. Could be exit, could be trap. Yes, very nice. You don't want to hit traps on these high floors. You can take one hit at most from any... Well, most things. Tyrants and Glaciers you can take a little bit more from. Usually.
Plus, the traps, knowing where traps are does show you there is a room here. So,
yes.
That's also still information you can use.
Some suspicious looking coins there.
Yep.
Opting to not
nice
play with them, leaving the scroll.
Honestly, I don't think that coin, I think the coin closer to the door could be a Manueva, but the one farther away shouldn't be.
The one in... I don't think the one in the closer to the door could be, because the Maneva has to be moving and into the item to be able to transform into it.
Yeah.
And there we go. That Tyrant did not like getting punched by the dragon, and dragon just
Troy
didn't care.
is just showing
Don't
so
low
much.
down. No, lowdown. Oh,
Depression.
oh, it did get the level down though. So if he does kill it, he's gonna get less experience for it now. Yay.
Malicious. All right.
And we good.
This is a rough room over here for Razor. Look at this.
Yeah, this
does
might. He does have the holy bell, but depending on which way the monsters choose to go, the room
No, he
is
doesn't.
fallen.
He has a holy.
Oh, he has a holy scroll. Oh, yeah. Okay. Familiar bell, holy. Yeah. Okay.
His best bet might be to use the holy scroll on the Arachne. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then step into the no, because Arachne's gonna be hogging it. Playing with fire.
Oh, and the spider hits the clone. That's not what you want to have happen.
Use recovery ball. Why didn't you use the recovery ball on Kuhn instead? Oh, I guess
That's
the
gonna.
medicinal
Oh.
gets rid of inventory immediately, so it helps, I guess.
And it's a repel ball. He could repel heal maybe or recovery. Spider putting in work for Razor right now. Definitely got the bang for his buck out of that holy scroll.
Yep. Oh, and still didn't die because bomb trap is fire element, and the Arachne was just like, I'll take 3 damage. Sure.
Hey,
Pick it, go away.
I am okay with this. 6. Oh no! 1 hit point. You gotta be kidding me.
Oh, that is the strongest ticket in the world, and it takes the Aleem fruit. I would miff. Oh, but he gets it back. All right, we're good.
Moving up to 19. Moving away from picket floors. Not quite there yet, but we are close.
Is that a silver coin or the elevator? I couldn't tell. It looked like a silver.
It's both.
If it was the elevator, I was gonna be like, ooh.
Humna maybe? Yeah. For Troy, yeah. That he didn't really have a way to deal with. Even like his blinder ball or anything would have not been helpful. And he got the kill out of it, so very nice. He needs. Okay, Razor scaring me a little bit. If he would have missed there, that would have been GG's on floor 20.
Nope.
Yep, just use it right away. Why not? Light seed not needed.
Ignoring
Lave.
Oh, yeah, there we go.
Double
Oh,
holy scroll and a restore scroll.
You don't need that inventory on 37. He's gone though. Okay, he didn't care. He has a light seed in inventory. I would have taken that restore scroll.
He does already have one.
Oh, he does. Okay.
That egg is potentially really nice. A killer egg would be really cool. Now we're having inventory problems. What do we get rid of? I have so many good things that I don't know what to get rid of. Honestly, at this point, that pita fruit can go.
Yeah, just toss it at Kuhn. Ooh, bomb trap.
We're getting in territory where that medicinal could almost go at this point too. 63 is on the cusp of being able to take a hit or not. Yeah, I agree. Holy Scroll is the way to go. He's so close. He has resources to burn, and he has very few floors left to burn them. Now is the time, Troy.
So far, I think that is 4 restore scrolls for 2 seed. 2 restore scrolls each climb. And we have to keep in mind that Razorflame has made a re-entry, so technically 5 restore scrolls. I don't remember if the first re-entry he did on the last run had.
Yeah, I think that was pretty early too. They've had them for a while. Okay, he can take another hit. But how's he gonna deal with it? He doesn't need to deal with it. Perfect. This is a rough room Troy's walking into here. He does have that holy bell. I think he's trying to save it just because he's on 38 at the. If he spawns in a particularly bad room in 39, okay, opting to use it, not a bad decision. That was kind of a rough room. Exit loop.
Oh, it's a game.
It's across the map. That blinder's got to be getting low at this point. He's got to be careful about using that. I think he's aware of that though. He did leave himself space in case it was empty. Moving up to 23. Razor's really picking up the pace at this point.
Oh, we don't have a way of getting rid of this blind, so he has to just risk it.
Yeah, and that's.
Oh!
He needs to move somewhere.
No! Why did you do that? Oh. Did he forget Kuhn was right behind him?
Does he have any fire charges? He doesn't. Holy, yes. 39 for Troy.
Light sand?
Oh, he was hoping that fire charge could have been so useful. At least everything's sleeping.
Yep. Sleepy time.
Oh, how's he gonna deal with Golem?
Fire crystal, maybe.
Yeah, I think that if he's gonna use it, this would be the time. Bind is out. Kuhn is down.
Mayhel seed into fire crystal? Oh.
Oh no,
he needed to use that Mahel seed right there. I don't know what he.
I don't think he can survive. Yeah, Ice Rock is I think his only option here, and he has to get lucky. That Golem has to choose to not. Okay. Oh, very well done, Troy. That was a. Oh, and he's rewarded with 40.
No way!
GG's. Troy takes round 2 and the game with 240 clears. Very well done. Meanwhile, Razor on floor 24. Inventory looking a little sparse. He has those 4 flame charges and he's on wind floor, so that'll help him out quite a bit now. Kuhn not helping as much as he would like, being water now. Oh, paralyze. It didn't hit. We are gonna see if the runners would like to do a friendly third. Troy has technically won, but we have scheduled time for 3 matches, so if they would like, they can play a friendly match just for the fun of it. It's something we like to offer the friendly. If the runners are up for it. I think it is a bit late for Troy now. He very well may opt out, but we will see. Yeah, and Troy opting out of the third. We can still get them in here for interviews. Unfortunately, I don't have the commentator controls, so I'll have to invite them in manually.
I have commentator control for us.
I think it's the done will send them invites.
So clicking done under their name?
Yeah, done under the name. Yeah, I believe so. And just in case, I've sent them invites as well, so they should be in here momentarily. While we're waiting for them, does chat have any questions for either of our runners? Now would be the time to get them in. Septic Fire Crystal could have done something. A Golem is about the only thing it could have done anything against. I'm not saying it would have been quick, but it could have killed a Golem.
Yeah.
Kind of like a poison strat at that point. You need a lot of turns. You pretty much need the full effect of Salamander to take out a single Golem.
Oh, one damage.
Troy, GG's, my man. I came in late, so I didn't see your first climb, but 240 clears. Very nice.
Yeah. I mean, I didn't deserve the last one. Let's face it. But yeah, bit of a madness.
Yeah, you were sitting on that Mahel seed at the end there, and you still managed to get to that elevator. That was very good. That was very well played.
Yeah, I mean, I literally looked at it and I was like, the only chance I've got really is getting super lucky on this ice rock. Yeah, I think it's always the way when you get to like those super high floors. I think nerves tend to get the better of you. So I think I was just trying to go fast. So just misplayed slightly, but yeah, it worked out in the end.
Troy, we have a question for you from Wuga.
Mm-hmm.
He says he would like to know how you feel about tossing the Stream Wand early and holding on to the C seed until 40.
No further questions, Your Honor. I sometimes I just get inventory blind, and this was a prime example of me being inventory blind. It doesn't seem to matter like how much I sort of practice and how much awareness I think I have of my inventory. There's some things that will just disappear from my line of vision. Like I just can't see them. Like that C seed, that wind seed even. Yeah.
Yeah.
I have no idea. No idea they were there.
Yeah, I have noticed that there are things like that you use really commonly. Like you pick up a holy scroll, you remember in the back of your mind, I have that holy scroll, I need to use it.
Mm-hmm.
But things that you don't use as often, like you only use a C seed once a run, right? It's not something, and then you didn't have the stream wand, maybe not top priority type of thing. It's just even with state display open, I've played quite a bit with state display. And even having the inventory up, I'm looking for specific things that I have in my inventory, not necessarily reading every individual item. When I need, when I'm in a situation, so I can completely understand that. And it's just that paralyzed wand, it's not bad. Unless you're getting the Scarlet Wand right off the bat, or you're intending to go water strats, which aren't guaranteed by any means. I need space. Well, the Paralyzed Wand is still at least going to give me an effect, right? So, I don't know. It's one of those things where it's you have to weigh the importance of the item at the time, not necessarily down the line, because you never know if you're going to get to use it or not. So I can understand that.
Yeah, I'll be honest, like I don't think I like water strats. As much as I will keep a CC or a stream wand or something, I actually don't like water strats at all. I'm so much more comfortable playing around the water monsters from like floor 20 than I am like aiming to fight them. So yeah, that's, I don't know. I don't know why that CC is still there. But there you go.
I mean, you did phenomenal. Your workarounds against all of the water monsters was very on point. There was one point where you had 2 U-boats and a Manueva towing behind you, and you just you went with it and handled them perfectly well. It was great. It was very phenomenal usage of items for various situations along the way. It's just showed a lot of knowledge. There was at one point where, like, maybe Razorflame's lack of knowledge showed, where he tried to throw a sword at a Manueva that was you encountered it at the same time, because you spawned into a room, it's right next to a wall, and the sword did not do damage, and it just landed on top of the Manueva.
Mhm.
So it was like a lot of situations where your decision making and how fast you made it came in handy so many times, and is why you have cleared the tower twice back to back in under an hour. Really well done.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and I would like to really point that out. One of the big points of this tournament is to see the newer runners really improve with their mentors. And Troy, I have to say, you were a solid runner before. I know that you were being coached a bit by Septic in the past. You were a solid runner before, but man, you have improved so much. Your technique, your decision making is improved. Inventory management, just all across the board, man. You've improved so much.
I mean, that's great to hear. um, I'm not gonna lie. Like I've spoken to Booker quite a bit, and like I kind of feel it. Like I feel like a better player. I certainly feel like I'm playing the best I've ever played. And yeah, to get like the last 3 matches like all clears, and as as I said, like all under an hour. I mean, that's something I could have only like dreamed of when I entered the last tournament. So yeah.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
it's even more hype because this is a beginners tournament. Even in our standard tournaments, 40 climbs are hype. This double 40s back to back. GG's, man. I don't know what else to say. That is impressive.
It really is, yeah.
Yeah, thank you both. There's definitely some things that I'll look back on and need to sort of tweak and whatnot. I'm looking forward to watching the VOD back for sure, and certainly to see how like Razor got on and handled like similar situations. I think it's always helpful to kind of potentially learn from other players. So
Yeah.
Razor tended to do the first 10 or so floors a little on the slower side, and then after he hit around level 10 or so, if he could, he would go water strats and he would pick up the speed dramatically.
yeah,
Which is a little odd. He was like I said, he played the first few floors rather slow, but he didn't necessarily explore the entire floor either. He kind of just got into a lot of spots and was kind of killing everything in his path, which isn't bad. You get that experience. That's how you learn to do the AI1 strats. Your inventory management, what works here, what doesn't. So it's not a bad decision, but it is slower than avoiding blooms and U-boats and things like that. But once he hit level 10, and especially once he got the stream and water combo, his pace picked up pretty dramatically. He finished this run on floor 24, and I think he got like 13 floors in the last maybe 15, 20 minutes.
that's pretty good pace.
Yeah, he started picking up the pace. He was going roughly your pace, floor for floor, but by then you had such a lead. But yeah, it's very interesting to see, and it's kind of one of the things that I wanted to have happen with having runners matched up with specific coaches,
Mm.
because everybody has their own play style to begin with, but also being essentially infused with somebody else's play style, it gives you that opportunity to pick and choose things that work, things you like, things that you don't like. Like you've even said yourself, Troy, you don't necessarily like water strats. And being able to incorporate that into your own play style and making it work for you is just really fun to watch.
I'm glad about that. If there's anything that, yeah, I guess there's no like greater praise than having people who are like commonly running the game or anything like that enjoying what I'm doing. Like if people are having fun watching me like play, I mean I'm having a blast doing it. So
Yeah, and ultimately that's the point. As long as everyone's having fun, um, then I think I've succeeded here. That's all
Yeah.
I really wanted. And the overall improvements, everyone's improved quite a bit in the last few weeks, which was my other goal. So, um, I think that's gonna be about it for the interview, though, unless anybody has any final remarks.
I would just say you brought up little tidbits, Troy, about watching and seeing how Razorflame handled stuff. Actually, the fun thing is, even though you did 40 floor clears, Razorflame had a significant 2 to 3 floor lead ahead of you until the first round. He fainted, and the second round he wind crystalled out of a bad situation. He was actually ahead of you, but then he just, I guess, slipped up, and you were more consistent and solid in your gameplay than him getting unlucky and encountering what he did. So it was kind of neat to see that happen twice in a row, where he had a lead and then you just trucked through it.
It's unsurprising. I knew that Razor was fast. That's something I sort of picked up. I'm using he because I've made that assumption. I don't know if they use they them or other pronouns. But yeah, my understanding was this is a fast opponent. But from the matches that I've seen prior, the kind of the floor cap to where they've sort of got to is sort of around about the mid-20s, like that sort of thing, which is obviously great. But I think in order to kind of secure the victory, I knew that I could slow down in particular points, not necessarily do what I usually do, which is like run really fast all the way through from basically like floor 6. And I knew I could just slow down, and as long as I was getting to like 30s, or even obviously in this case like 2 clears, I had a pretty good shot. That was my game plan basically going in.
Yeah, I think either Septic or Revan noticed that you sidestepped on one of the floor 7, 13, one of those floors that you typically don't want to loot, and it's like you sidestepped to loot like 1 or 2 really safe rooms real quick, and it paid off. It did.
Yeah, I think it's so important, especially like those first 5 floors. If you don't get an inventory that's gonna set you up for the more dangerous floors, like you're gonna have to find it from somewhere. I'm fairly sure the first run was really bare, the first 5 floors, or this one I can't remember. And in my head I'm thinking, I need to pick some bits up. Like this is gonna leave me in a like pretty dire situation if I'm not looking to pick up an extra ball here, like a loop there, or something like that. So if there were safe rooms to go into, then most of the time I was doing it.
Okay, answering a question from chat. There will be, that is going to be it for Azure Dreams today. We do have another tournament match coming up on Tuesday at 8 p.m. Eastern. And we'll have a whole 3 more matches next week as well between the runners. We're doing a round robin. So we'll have same runners matched up with different opponents next week. But we should see, we'll see Troy and Chimera as well playing at some point.
I'm not looking forward to it. I'm dreading it. I have now commentated Troy twice, I think, and it's just like, all right, well, he's just kind of a brick house.
I don't know about that. The tower, I think, has been quite kind. The past 3 runs, like to say that there wasn't like a lot of luck involved in that, would be, I think, a bit disingenuous on my end. So you've really impressed me, Chimera, with like a lot of the like know-how that you have and the way that you handle yourself in the tower. So I'm not going into this thing like super confident. Like, I definitely think you could take the game off me for sure.
We'll see how it goes with the barongs, because so far nobody really went for the barongs from today, and I know that there's a part of me that will always yearn for the RNG that will come from them. So we'll see. We'll see.
But yeah, looking forward to that patch for sure.
Likewise, it's been great commentating on you and seeing you just enjoy the game. That's the big part of it. So, honestly, thank you, Riven. Thank you, Troylus. Thank you, our runners and our viewers, for everything, because this has been very fun.
Indeed. I just posted the links to the runners' Twitch channels, commentary, and our Discord if you're interested in that. We have it's a community, pun fully intended. Anyone is welcome to join. We have information about the game in general, speedrunning tips, things like that. We have a de-randomizer, which is what we were using to make both runners run the same tower. There's all kinds of options you can choose in that. And we actually recently just established a seed of the week, and you can check that out as well. But that is going to be it for us today. Thank you everyone for joining us. Troy, GG's, Chimera, thank you for filling in today for commentary. Big help. Appreciate that very much. And big shout outs to Speed Gaming and chat. Without you guys, we wouldn't be able to do this. And until next time, we'll see you later.
Take care.
In a peace.